Hello, everyone, and welcome to Synchronous Online Teaching Strategies for Educators. My name is Teresa Wells. I'm an assistant professor at George Mason University in the Math Ed Leadership Office. I primarily teach adults who want to be mathematics specialists for grades K through 8 and teach them online strategies for implementing mathematics and problem solving. Um, in addition to that, I have experience teaching a third grade class how to completely convert their class into a paperless classroom using synchronous online strategies. And also, I'm a Daisy Girl Scout leader. I have 14 kindergartner and first graders, and since school has been closed, we have been still doing our regular weekly meetings through virtual instruction. So hopefully the experiences that I have will be applicable to you and no matter what grade you teach. On slide 1, and again, here's the link again to the slides. At the very top, there's some links that might be important to you if you want to keep in touch. I'm recording this session and all sessions I do and create little mini videos also. If you subscribe to my YouTube channel, you'll get an email as soon as there is a new video available. You can also follow me on Twitter, send me an email. If you like this PD and you want more, you can check out the other PD opportunities. And I have a new website and everything is available there. On slide 2 is just a handout on being a math specialist. This is the program that I teach in at George Mason. And on slide 3, you will notice here that all of my templates are available free to teachers to use, and they're available on my website. And finally, on slide 4, the last announcement here, if you've been looking for those gray slides because you attended a previous session and there used to be gray slides here, everything's been uploaded to my website, and these are the quick links to it. All right, let's dive in today's session. This is all about building classroom communities, and it is aimed specifically at K-2 teachers. The reason I am aiming this instruction there is because if our K-2 students can do it, our other older students are more likely to be able to implement these strategies. All right, slide 5 has been my journey as a Girl Scout Daisy leader. And I started off with Flipgrid. And then as students got better at that, or my daisies got better at that, we moved into Google Slides and Collaborate. We still use these, and the girls have gotten really flexible with the technology. And I'm going to kind of walk you through how my journey went. But I would like to start on slide 6. This is successes and celebrations. I use this every time I do online, whether it's with little kinders or teachers about to retire. Everyone gets to do successes and celebrations. What you're going to do is grab a text box and tell us what you are celebrating. Text boxes are up at the top in your toolbar, but no worries if you need to find a space to write. I've gone ahead and made several here. You can pick any one. What are you celebrating? And then I'll ask a couple of you to turn on your microphones and tell us a little bit about it. Somebody wrote in a green background with pink text. Can you tell us a little bit about the slides that you're going to use?
Yes, good morning. This is Sharice Kennerson. We always do a word of the week. And so typically in the classroom, I would have that word posted and I would ask the students to guess what they thought the word meant. So I'm using that as part of my slide where I put the word on one slide or one side. On the other side, they have the little bullets where they can enter in what they think the word means. And then on the next slide, I give them a picture and a sentence using the word. And then I have that template again where they have the bullets where they can enter in now what do you think the word means. So they'll be doing that where you use it as a KWL. I'm using just one of the sections for each. And then also our team, we had to create different slides for us all to use. And so I was in charge of the writing section for this week. And so the writing lesson was about learning how to spell words by sounding them out slowly. And so after they watch a video, the teacher's going to give them 3 words to spell. And I did transform that KWL into word 1, word 2, word 3, where the students will go in and try to spell the word after she sounds it out for them.
What a clever use of that template. I am so excited to have learned that from you. Thank you for sharing. Um, let's see, we've got so many wonderful options here. How about the beautiful flyover? Who saw that? And tell us a little bit about it.
Yes, that was me. My name is Stacy Lanier, and I live very close to an elementary school that has a big field, and went out, and it wasn't too crowded. There were people that went to see it, but it was just amazing. I get goosebumps every time I see. Um, my father was in the military, so it's just a very special thing. So, yeah.
Wonderful. I heard them in the middle of one of my sessions here. So I know, yes, about that. Somebody said they're celebrating using Flipgrid for reading poetry with expression. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes. Since April was Poetry Month, I modeled reading poems with expression and had the kids go back and pick their favorite Shel Silverstein poem and record themselves on Flipgrid, and then they got to see each other. And they did a great job.
Awesome. That sounds amazing. We're going to get some experience with Flipgrid today. And so let's just go ahead and jump right in. You'll probably notice one of the ways that I show community and build community in these sessions is through successes and celebrations. I do it every time. I do enjoy kind of the chaos of this slide that I know some of you definitely don't like, but I do enjoy the way that it allows you to make any size box. You can upload pictures, you can resize your font, you can put little pictures on it and shapes on it for hearts. It is very informal, and it reminds me of my favorite part of recess, which is unstructured. So use it however you like here. And then come on down to slide 7. We are going to do our morning message. On slide 7, this is something that I do in all my classes anyways when I'm in the elementary school, and something that I've done with my daisies also. So here we go. Good morning. Today is May 3rd, 2020. I hope that you're excited to learn some new tech tools. Our focus today is on building classroom community. I will model some activities that can be implemented with kindergarteners, but then I will ask you to think about how they should be implemented with older students. From Teresa. And if you're wondering about the highlighting, there's a little tech tip up at the top about how I made those highlight line by line. And then join me on slide 8. There are 2 lessons that I needed to explicitly teach my daisies, and it was how to turn on and off their microphone and how to stagger their windows. These were 2 things that I just couldn't rely on them like knowing how to do intuitively. And so if you want to, it seems like most of you have already learned the microphone part, but if you want to check out that video on how to stagger windows, I will also share my screen so you can see what I see. And what I do is I make actually 2 mini windows. I know this looks really chaotic right now, but it will look good in just a moment. So I had to directly teach this to the daisies, but once I taught it to them, and in most cases they were able to save their settings for minimizing windows, they were able to see their microphone at the bottom, see the chat box over here, and also see the slides. And so that was probably our biggest hurdle, but it didn't take as long as you'd think. Go ahead and stagger your windows and then join me on slide 9 to let me know that you are ready to continue. All right, I can already see many of our bubbles are down to slide 9. This next 10 minutes is going to be independent for you all to explore Flipgrid. If you are already an expert in it, you can jump right down to part 2. If you've never heard of it and you want a great introductory video, there is one on part 1. But I'm going to just save the next 10 minutes for us to work independently, and we will come back at 10:21 Eastern.
Hi, good morning. Today is Thursday, March 19th, 2020. I'm so glad to see all of you. I've missed you recently, and I'm so excited to start a new way of learning. Who else is excited about learning this way?
What a great idea to use this for morning meeting. I can see this being very helpful for our preschool teachers as well as our littles in school. I think they're feeling a little left out because computers weren't even being offered to them. And I think that we also have a deaf and hard of hearing few classes in preschool, and this will be great because they can do signing. They've been very worried about the lack of closed captioning available on some of the tools. So thank
I am so excited to bring together these tools, Collaborate, Google Slides, and now Flipgrid, to help our teachers and students connect and remain in community over this time of immersion distance learning.
I think it would be really fun to use Flipgrid with morning meeting, having the students having already rehearsed and practiced in a choral reading the morning message. They could go to Flipgrid and practice reading it independently and practice their fluency and sounding like a reader.
I can see Flipgrid being used for the share part of morning meeting, giving everybody a prompt or something to share about, and then they can record their own videos. And then as the teacher, you can project that screen and then play a few to be shared out loud. Or you can also ask students to go ahead and click on 2 or 3 friends and watch their share and comment back.
I think Flipgrid makes a good response tool for a morning message question as well. For example, if you ask the kiddos, how was your weekend, or share an artifact or something from their online learning from the previous week, then they could use Flipgrid to make a response video.
Our school used to have Friday funnies on the Friday morning announcements, and my first graders always looked forward forward to that and wanted to get on the morning news. So I've had them, since we've been doing this distance learning, them recording, telling a favorite joke or a riddle from a book. And the kids have all enjoyed recording them and seeing all their friends tell their favorite jokes.
All right, everyone, welcome back. I hope you had some experiences there with Flipgrid, and you'll be able to see other people's rationales for why they might use this for morning meeting. Come on down to slide 10. We're going to jump into another activity that very quickly became part of my Daisy Girl Scout meeting, was an emotional check-in. And there's this little saying that I frequently say in Scouts, and the reason I put it here is because sometimes when we're working on a really hard skill and that productive struggle is right up there at that maximum, the girls are getting very frustrated. And I want them to know that I'm going to like them no matter what, no matter how frustrated they get, and I can be there to help them through that emotional challenge. So I always say, I love you when you're happy, I love you when you're sad, I love you when you're silly, crazy, whatever it is, and I love you when you're mad. There's nothing you can do that will make me stop loving you. And so I kind of put that up there, and then I also took images of each of the daisies in their cute little uniforms, and I asked them at the beginning of each session, will you put one of those emojis on top of your portrait and let us know how you're feeling today? So I'll let you guys go ahead and do that. If you want to grab one of those little emojis and put it on top of, obviously these aren't your portraits, but put it on top of you. And if you are somebody who wants to be able to clone these little emojis, I've got a little tech tip up there. All I actually did was copy and paste them 6 times and put them right on top of each other. So there's a bunch there. But the kids would each grab an emoji, put it down on their face, and then I'd give them the option to kind of talk about it if they wanted to. So on slide 11, I have the question for you all, and feel free to turn on your mics and respond. How can emotional check-ins build classroom communities? Feel free to turn on your mic and give us some ideas that you might have. Jackie.
Well, I actually teach kindergarten, and I typically start my sessions with that. And I think the kids make connections when they see that their classmates might be feeling how they feel, and they get to talk about their feelings, especially with what's going on now. Just knowing that you're not alone in whatever way you're feeling, that other people might feel the same, is one of those things that helps build connections.
Absolutely, indeed. Any other thoughts about how this might build classroom communities?
I think it builds classroom communities because it tells each child that you care about them as individuals, and once they know that they're taken care of and that they're cared for, then they can move beyond themselves to others as well.
Yes, absolutely. Donna?
I think it builds connection from student to student. And to add on to what Jackie said, it not only lets kids know that the teacher cares about them, but that we're a community that should all be caring about one another.
Yes, you all said it so well. And this has just become something that I wasn't sure if the girls were really going to get involved with it, like it. I wasn't sure about their vulnerabilities, but as soon as this is up, it takes them all of 5 seconds to find their character, put it down, and they're all eager to interact with it. All right, let's head on down to slide 12, and I'll share my hero with you. So Control Z is my hero when it comes to online learning. And I have a little activity for us to do that the girls in my Daisy troop did also. But this is some notes for you as teachers. When thinking about kids online, teach them to be digital citizens. Teach them how to undo mistakes. Teach them how to respect others' work. Teach them that they're responsible for their actions online. Teach them about cyberbullying and how to be a cyber hero. Teach them how to ask for help. Teach them how to say, I'm sorry, online. Teach them the most important skill that they will use in their lives. Teach them to be a digital citizen. On slide 13 is the breakout room activity that I would give my students to do. And if you take a moment, go ahead and click on the directions. The directions say, when have you made a mistake and you felt powerful to fix it? You'll see it links you to Google Translate. So once you click it, there's that little link down below. And it will read it to you in English and your home language.
When have you made a mistake and you felt powerful to fix it?
¿Cuándo has cometido un error y te sentiste poderosa para solucionarlo?
If you want to learn how to do that, up there in the purple box, I have a little tech tip, and it walks you through how to actually create that so that it reads the directions to the students out loud. As you move your youngest kids into breakout rooms, it's really important that you are able to work as the teacher role and not so much as the tech support role, even though you're going to have both sets of shoes. So when you're doing your directions, the more that you can empower the kids in being independent, such as if they lose connectivity and come in later, or they need it read aloud in a different language, that they have that option. All right, come on down to slide 14. As adult learners, I'm going to give you multiple tasks to do at once in the breakout room, also so that you can explore some of these things that I had the girls do also. So you're going to begin in breakout rooms discussing the question, when have you made a mistake and felt powerful to fix it? Then you're going to practice. On the slide below, slide 15, there's lots of cute little doggies, and you're going to make a mistake, and then you're going to fix it. So you might type on top of a doggy's face, you might delete a doggy, you might move the kitty cat on top of someone's favorite dog, and then you're going to use that Control Z to fix the mistake. Then you're going to create your Control Z superhero. I've given you a boring template on slide 16. You do not have to use this boring template. You may get out your crayons and your pencils, and you may make your own superhero. Slide 17 shows one of the superheroes that the girls made. And her name is Super Equestria, and she helps people when they make a mistake. She doesn't get mad at them. She knows how to Control Z. So that's what one of the girls actually created. If you would like to, you may practice showing a picture of your superhero and uploading it to Flipgrid so we could see it. But what I do ask is when you're in your breakout rooms, leave your microphone on and have casual conversation while you're coloring. We'll only be in this activity for a few minutes, but make sure you practice making mistakes and draw that superhero. I'm going to be the one in charge of making breakout rooms, and yes, I can show you how to do it at the end of today's session if you are curious. Let's see, and your breakout rooms will start in 3, 2, 1, now.
Are we all going back to the same slide? Is that?
Yeah, I think it's that slide with the dogs and cats and just do something and then do Control Z.
Controls.
I did not.
Yeah, I didn't recall. All right, let me get into it. Let me go over here. Delete. By the time that I made a mistake, it was powerful to fix it. In the past.
Control Z superhero.
Okay. And then I guess when we're ready, go down to our superhero.
Yes. Create your own superhero. Superhero because. Oh.
So that's where I got confused with the directions. I'm not sure where we're supposed to go to create a superhero.
Slide 16.
Yeah.
Or create your own and upload it.
So I would think, yeah, either, maybe copy and paste. Oh, it looks like slide 18, 19, she's included a bunch of templates for you to then add.
Hi there, team. Yeah, this is pretty
Hi.
informal, but I wanted you all to have a chance to talk about maybe this superhero. Maybe someone's going to sketch it out on paper pencil and upload a picture, or maybe you're just going to find some clip art. But just get a chance to see what it's like and how empowering it is to kind of draw out this superhero.
Okay.
Cool.
So I'm no artist, so I go right to clip art.
Is there a specific slide we're supposed to work on, or do we just make a copy of the slide for ourselves?
That's what I did. I just went to 16 and then did duplicate slide.
So that we would each have our own? Is that what you're saying?
Mm-hmm.
Let's see.
So does she want us to create, oh, I see what people are doing. Wow.
Welcome back to the main room, everyone. Welcome back. This was so fun how each of you kind of interpreted the directions a little differently. And I do keep my directions rather vague for teachers because you all are the pedagogy experts. Some of you did upload a picture and you talked about it on Flipgrid. Some of you used clip art images and wrote on top of the little person. Some of you found Google images and put them on the slides below. There are really a lot of different things that you all chose to do. So my question to you is, on slide 30, would you turn on your microphone and tell me, how might this superhero lesson build classroom communities?
I think it can build classroom communities because it allows children to make mistakes. In my classroom, we're a growth mindset classroom, so we always are talking about how mistakes help us to be better learners, how it helps us to see what we did right and what we did wrong. So this just kind of backs that up and just kind of confirms to them that it's okay to make mistakes sometimes, and that can help you.
Absolutely. And Charisse, I can tell just by the way you were describing that growth mindset and making mistakes that your students feel very comfortable making mistakes in your class. Who else sees a way that this builds classroom communities?
I just agree with Charisse that this is a great way to put it in the hands of the kids and to start it out by saying we're going to be celebrating mistake making while we're creating. So not modeling it, but letting them actually do it.
Yes, absolutely. So they get to practice making mistakes, and the best part is they get to practice undoing them. And in this online world where so many people have anxiety about the tech because, oh my gosh, what if I make a mistake? The silver lining is, unlike the real world, the online world, we do have an undo button. It is this just really cool thing that you can do to undo it, and you feel powerful in being able to undo it. Alrighty, come on down to slide 31. Let's do another little activity. I'm guessing just by the type of audience I have here that you all might know of this awesome book called I Love My White Shoes. If not, there is a little video there. You can click on that and you can watch the read aloud for it. If you do know this book, come on down to slide 32. And in this case, you'll notice that I have, again, my students' portraits. And I'll ask them, if you were Pete, what color would your shoes be? And so I'll give them a minute to move their portrait over. Feel free to grab a kiddo and move it into the color. And I might call on a kiddo and say, I notice you put your face on the brown shoes. Why do you think your shoes would be brown? And if you have a response to that, go ahead and turn on your mic and give us your reasoning.
Brown shoes are less likely to get dirty.
Oh, very cool. And I noticed that there is a kiddo on blue, and I might name that kiddo. Why wouldn't you cry that your shoes are blue? If anyone wants to answer that, pretend like you're that kiddo.
Blue is my favorite color, so I would not cry if my shoes were blue.
Thank you. And then I might even ask them, what song would you sing? Because in the book, Pete does sing a song. I could have them turn on their mics and sing it, or again, I can harness that power of Flipgrid. But what you're really seeing here is that you're showing your actual person and your choice on the screen here. Alrighty, if you would take a minute, turn on your mics. How might doing an activity like this after a read aloud build classroom communities? Hi, Julie, I see your microphone on. Did you want to
yeah.
respond?
Sorry. I think just giving them the opportunity to respond after the read aloud.
Yes, absolutely. Patty?
Yeah, just it's just everybody could see how people are feeling about the story, if they agree with how other people feel, or they think differently.
Yes, indeed. And who else? How would we build classroom communities through this activity?
Students are able to see who have things in common with them. They can compare and contrast with their friends. They also can become open-minded to other colors or to whatever the other choices are by hearing the explanations from the other students as to why they chose what they chose.
Wonderful. And Kim?
I like how it has all the children in the class engaged and not just the one or two kids that always raise their hand.
Yes, indeed. The one thing I really love about online learning is that I can see every student participating, and I can see it in a way that is different than face-to-face. Even if I give everyone a whiteboard, sometimes what goes on the whiteboard and shown to me might have to do with the lesson, it might not at all. And so here we can kind of have everyone involved in making a choice. Alrighty, I see another slide. I'm going to move it right above our virtual parking lot so you can explain it to us then. If you all would come to slide 33. And I'm just curious, how many of you all have a classroom with either dots on the floor or a carpet space that belongs to students? If you do have this on either slide 33 or 34, please type in one of those boxes, why do you have it? Slide 33 or 34, they both have the same boxes. And you can see here that when you do online instruction, I call this own a space, which just literally means what you're doing in the classroom already. You either have that personal space in form of a dot or a square, and it helps to have a little bit of organization. You can do own a space by simply putting text boxes in already, and it gives students a place. You can also, if you choose, you can put the kids' pictures in the ONA space so that they know which one is theirs to go to. If you check out slide 34, you can see that I've done that there. So the kids would find their picture and they can respond. As you primary teachers know, sometimes the wait time needs to be much longer when we're having kids type on the computer, but also giving them a chance to be that digital citizen and learning to type on a QWERTY keyboard. Alrighty, so how does Own a Space build classroom communities? If you could turn on your mic and let me know.
I think it takes the pressure off of students about being first or even being last. It allows them to know, hey, I already have my location, just like line order. They know where to go. They know what to do. So it builds their confidence that they are confident in that particular area as well.
Yes, indeed.
I also think it might encourage them to have a say, like people that are quit. I feel like this with the learning this past week, I tend to pick on the people that raise their hand first, but just because I'm nervous and somebody has an answer, but something like this, they all get a chance to type. So maybe if they're, maybe some kids won't type, but I think most, maybe they would. If they had more time and a space.
Yeah, having a time and a space, aren't those things that we all want when we're learning technology? To not be pushed too quickly and to know that your contribution is helpful. As a teacher, just to kind of keep the community rolling, as some students need more time to type, I can start to bring in some voices by simply doing this. Whoever wrote in the blue box, would you turn on your microphone and either read that as is or just elaborate a little bit more on it?
I think that's me. Everyone has a space to help them be safe and keep others safe and comfortable.
Wonderful. So you can see, much like successes and celebrations, kids get a chance to write down an idea first, but you can continue to pre-read them and ask a couple kids to elaborate. And again, it doesn't need to be the kiddo who finished first. It can be a variety of reasons. All right, folks, I wanted to spend give you all a lot of time to ask questions, especially tech questions. But that is basically what I did for my daisies. I started out with Flipgrid. We met once a week. So by week 4, or the 4th time we met, we started doing this Google Slides pretty regularly. Yes, things like moving a mouse was surprisingly, maybe shouldn't have been surprisingly, but surprisingly difficult for some of my daisies. But I didn't give up on them. I said, you know what, you're going to use the mouse eventually, so let's go ahead and learn now. And typing was another one, finding certain letters. It's all right, just have patience and they'll get to it. On slide 37, if you are looking for something math specific, I know many of you teach math. I have a lot of really popular math routines in template form to be done online. So you might be familiar with SPLAT, choral counting, which one doesn't belong, what comes next, a continuum, I spy, same and different. So these are already created for you. You would just kind of change the little element for it. And then slide 38, I gave this slide as parent and child homework together. The parents loved it. They were not feeling overwhelmed. They didn't feel like, they had to do a ton of stuff with their Daisy. Instead, they felt like their girl was becoming more knowledgeable about the tech. The only rule that I gave them for this scavenger hunt is don't do any of the clicking for your daughter. Instead, point with your finger and talk with her, but see how much of this scavenger hunt you and her can do together. These were all the competencies that I wanted them to know in Google before they were Google experts. And you can see it's not many, but those were the ones that I really wanted to target. All right, folks, I am going to go to slide 40, which is our virtual parking lot, and I'm going to answer any questions that are on here. Before you log off, I hope to encourage you to try one thing. Take it slow, and empower your students to be digital citizens. They can do it. They're going to be able to do it in speeds that astonish you. And if you like the session, you want to sign up for others, feel free to click on my PD registration. But otherwise, I'm going to go right into the virtual parking lot. And I'm going to start off with slide 39. I noticed somebody put this in here. Can you tell us a little bit about this slide?
Hi, that would be me. And I actually was just frantically texting with someone saying, how did that get in there? I didn't mean to put that in there, but if you'd like me to explain it, I'm happy to.
Oh, yeah, no problem. Yeah, go ahead and tell us, how do you use this in your class?
Okay, well, we're teaching focus lessons with primary students, focus lessons in language arts, and we go through various interactive slides where we tell the students what we're going to be teaching them, and then we demonstrate it, and then we end the focus lesson with a way for them to try it on their own. And this is the guided practice slide from a whole lesson I developed, and I honestly have no idea how it got in your slideshow. I'm sorry.
Oh, no worries. I'm so excited you got to share that with us. I think we should do a show and tell at the end of these sessions anyways, so thank you for the great idea.
Okay, should I just go ahead and take the slide out? I don't know how it got in there. I'm sorry.
It's up to you. Since it's your personal slide, if you want to delete it, you can, but I think some other people might be interested in seeing it, so it's up to you.
Okay.
All right, on slide 40, we have a couple questions, and I wanted to spend some time to address those. And I'll go through some of the how-tos near at the end here. Someone said, do you have photos of all your students so you can place their photos on the slides? I do. In this case, I have photos of all the daisies. We made really cute Christmas ornaments out of them. So I already had copies of them up close in their daisy vest looking all cute. So I had those already, and I just pasted them on the slide. Someone said several of my teachers have been trying interactive slides, yay, and have mentioned that students are deleting slides. When I suggested Control Z, they said their students are trying with no success. Might you have any other suggestions or know why it's not working for them? I do have a suggestion. This is a little trick to keep in your back pocket. If you go up to File, Make a Copy, Entire Presentation, and just name it some letter of the alphabet. I already did A through D, so this will be E. What happens is up in your background, you have other tabs of copies of the slide. I might do this 5 times in an hour-long presentation. It just takes a quick second to do it. And in my opinion, it works better than Google searching back in the history. So I kind of have a copy of what happened at that moment. And then if somebody was in here and they accidentally just started deleting a whole bunch of stuff, I could come over to my copy and just paste it back over. I think that that's a nice little trick, even though it's not perfect. It's a nice trick to have. And so if students are having trouble maybe figuring out who did the deleting and doing the Control Z, you've always got that in your background. Oh, yes. Thank you, whoever wrote Command Z. Indeed, I am definitely a PC or Chromebook person. And so anytime people have Mac things to share with me, I will definitely include them in the future. How do you share the actual Google Slides with the students? I've used Pear Deck, and I know you can share the link to the students. There are a couple ways of sharing. You can go to the Share button, and you've got this link. This isn't the best one to do it with because I have multiple things here. I'll go on this one. So you can go to Share and get shareable link. You can either copy and paste this link, which will let anybody view or edit or comment, but this is open to anybody. There are some security things you might want to be aware of there. The other option is if you have a roster of student emails, you can simply type them in here and you can give them rights to edit it or view it and then send it to them. That'll send them an email. They can click on the link for it, and you'll be able to see, much like here we've got some people's names and other people who are anonymous, you'll be able to see your student's name if you do it through that way. How does this work on different devices? Typically, I use a Chromebook simply because of an important equity issue that PCs, Macs, and other devices cost a lot of money. A Chromebook is around the $100 range and more accessible to a variety of students and school divisions. I personally only use things that are free for that very reason, and Google Slides is one of them. You can use this on a phone, although because it's much smaller, there are some disadvantages to using it on a phone. But I've also seen when I was working with the third grade class, going completely paperless, that some of them used something small, a smaller device, and they were really able to have that dexterity and move around on it without a problem, whereas I found for me it was a bigger hurdle. How might you support students who are not yet proficient in typing and sharing their thinking through typing? I start with one words. We started with the Girl Scouts Type One Word. We had a huge discussion about what is that red underline. And the girls were really like, I got a red underline and it's not giving me the spelling that's correct. And so I just encouraged them to say, like, it's okay, just like in writing, sound it out, stretch it out, and put it on there as is. And if you find the correct spelling, then you can go ahead and use it. But I think at that point, I could tell you more strategies, but you all are the experts here. You do the same things you would do in a face-to-face class when kids are learning to spell with that first sound and then stretching it out. All right, there are a couple tech questions on here I'll address. How do you take screenshots to lock your slides? I'm going to do it with this slide here. I'll hit present. Now that I'm in present mode, and this little thing goes away, which it will do in a second, I'm going to take a screen capture. I've heard this is different on a Mac, that there's something called Snagit that you might use. For me, I hit the little window button and print screen, or I use the print screen button on a Chromebook. You'll see it flash. And then, let's see, I'll put a new slide in, and I'll hit this background tool. I'll choose an image. Oh goodness, I am not Jackie. Let me go ahead and do that again. Yep. Alrighty, here you go. So I'm going to start by going to present. And now that it's in present mode, I've got the whole screen. I don't have a bunch of other little things. This little thing at the bottom will go away in just a second. And I copy my whole screen. Does a little flash. I know it's copied. And now what that's done is it's actually made this a picture. And so I can go in here on a new slide, click background, choose an image, and find the picture. I've taken lots and lots of pictures in my time here. So for example, the daisy picture. And now this is a background. You can try and pull on it all you want. It is not going anywhere. Similarly, for the Pete the Cat activity, I made these little boxes early on, and I didn't really want the students to move the boxes around. I wanted them to stay locked. So again, it is now an image that's in the background, and I can try to move these all I want. They're not going anywhere. Someone wanted to know about staggering windows, so I would be happy to share that. The way I stagger windows, need to share it again. And I had a nice long lesson teaching the girls this, as I found the restore button on your window machine, and you click that and it makes like a smaller version. And this smaller version, you can change the size, which is really important because we don't want it to take up the whole screen. I changed the size on that one. And I changed the size on this one. Collaborate, I put in the bottom right corner. Google Slides, I put in the top left corner. I actually have two windows open. And I can always see the chat box, and I can always see if my microphone's on, but most of my work is here, and for most of the time, I'm not even paying attention to Collaborate at all. All right, folks, I don't see any other questions, but if you do have questions, feel free to ask me. Otherwise, happy online learning. Take one strategy, see how it goes, and I really hope you share your successes with me on Twitter or through email. You're welcome, everyone. Happy online learning. Charisse, yes, I took, instead of having 2 tabs, which you might have had, like you may have had Collaborate in one tab and Google Slides in the other, I actually broke it into 2 different windows. Charisse, did that help? Awesome, yay! Um, yeah, I typically work just on a Chromebook. I don't try and do anything super fancy with multiple monitors. I've done it recently because my husband needed to use the office and thought it was a good idea to put up 2 monitors. But typically I don't, and I teach like this all the time. So once you get the staggered windows, it's super easy to move back and forth. Sure thing. Happy online learning.